Good afternoon, Flosstube. My name is Mandy. Welcome to my channel, all about cross stitch. My pronouns are she, her. Today is Friday, July 18th, and this is Stitches. Did you hear? Can you say hi? She just woke up from a nap. I'm actually surprised that she came out. She's been, stupid, she knows. She's been hanging out on my bed much of the day this morning, and she just came wandering out, so I had to snag her while I could. Can you say hi? Your friends want to say hi to you. I hope you heard that. Yeah, it's been a couple weeks. My last video that I filmed was a mid-year whip parade. So that was everything that I had worked on so far this year. Because I keep forgetting this, Carolyn, this is for you. I'm gonna move the camera slightly. My camera calendar. Drop it like it's hot. Snoop Dogg. I keep forgetting about that. Yeah, so it's been a good couple of weeks. I know when I filmed last, it was my, I was on vacation for a week, just had PTO that needed to be used. And so a bit of a staycation, if you will. Spent time with family. Had some stitching days, like nothing too, I didn't like go out of town or anything like that. So that was nice. Got to film the Flosstube the one day. And yeah, so that was nice. And then just this past week was my birthday. So I just randomly decided to take the day off from work. It was a good day. Went to lunch with my mom, my sister, and my dad. Took myself for a pedicure that morning, so that was super nice. Yeah, it's been good. We did kind of a joint celebration over the weekend with family because my mom's birthday was last week as well, so it's kind of always been a thing that with our birthdays being 4 days apart at the joint parties and such. So we did a big family dinner at my sister's house. She makes delicious tacos. She also made enchiladas, so it was a delicious meal. And then just Tuesday, my mom has had a thing about always got to do something on your actual birthday, even if the, arrangements were made other days. You still got to, do a little something on your birthday. So it was an easy day to be able to go to lunch. I think that's about it. I really don't have a whole lot to share in terms of crafts that I've been working on. I just have a few things. I forgot to grab something. We're gonna see if I can do this whole pausing thing. So 1 second. Okay, hopefully that worked. I realized that I forgot to bring something over. What was I gonna say? Yeah. I just have a few. I've got 2 whips, 2 new starts, and a couple photos to share of things that I don't actually have on hand. I feel like I haven't really been stitching a whole lot, but I have still been stitching. It just, maybe some of my progress isn't as much, I guess. I don't know. I can say this much. I have actually been reading, which that has kind of slumped off a little bit for a while, like the month of April. I didn't pick up a single book. But I have actually been reading. I am currently on a 27-day streak at the moment, so we're trying to keep that going. But yeah, let's just dive into it, shall we? So because I don't have a whole lot to share in terms of the crafts I've been working on, I thought maybe today would be a good day to show a little bit of my junk journal. Not planning on turning this channel all into junk journaling or whatever, but I've got some cool haul that I want to share, and so it's going to be a good time to maybe show my junk journal a little bit. I still am thinking about maybe doing a like flip through of my whole junk journal, but we're going to show a few things of it at least today. So first thing I want to share is the artist trading card. I forget now what I shared of it last time. I think maybe I had started the stitching, but I didn't actually finish it. So this particular theme is Birds of a Feather. So this was from a Birds World of Cross Stitch or whatever magazine. I showed it unless it wouldn't have been my whip parade, I don't think. It might have been. Or the video before that. I don't know. This is part of a bigger piece. So it is a bird cage. Fitting for birds of a feather. Yeah, I think maybe I did show this because I think I remember explaining that there were some more of these flowers supposed to be at the top. They were annoying, so I decided to just cut those out completely. So I feel like maybe I showed it, but I don't think maybe I showed the finish. Because this is already mailed out, that's why I'm showing you a picture. So it is just the size of a playing card, so 2.5 by 3.5. Layered cardstock with just some pretty scrapbook paper that I had. That's actually kind of a gold color, not just yellow. Tacked on a cute little bird sticker, and there's my birds of a feather. So what I received in return is the coolest thing ever. It's actually, I could make this into my own little tiny junk journal because it's got all these little pages. I know it's a black. You're gonna be screaming the name of it, just Blackbird. I feel like we all know who the designer is, and it just completely went out of my mind. I don't remember. You probably already recognize the design. This thing is tiny. So again, 2.5 by 3.5. I did a rough, measuring. Like this is 25 count over 1. The colors are so pretty. And then bound up and using the cross stitch fabric. So thank you so much, Aya, for your beautiful stitching. I have no clue if she watches. She also included a little sticker and then just another piece of ephemera that I can use for something. So thank you so much for that. Now the other picture that I wanted to share, because I had to send these out, I'm pretty sure I showed maybe a finished stitch. No, actually I think this one was a full-on, still in the process of stitching in my whip parade. So Laura Stitching by the Shore is hosting a swap for the theme is like the elements of the earth, so specifically air and water, so however you want to interpret that. Between the birdcage that I just showed and these two, I think these are some of my favorite ATCs that I have made so far. Absolutely adore these, and I love how they turned out. So from a Cooler Designs booklet is a hot air balloon. Can't fly a hot air balloon without air, so element. So I used just layered with cardstock, pretty sky, paper type thing. And then this paper, it was just ephemera that I had. It looks like a map. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then this one, this was confetti. This was a lot of color changes, but it was so worth it. So I took this one, bird bath, water. There's water there. So it also would have fit for my birds of a feather, but I wasn't stitching it twice. So lots of back stitching on that bird bath, but it turned out so cool. So cardstock, I rounded the edges. I found paper. It was just ephemera paper in my stash. And they had some birds on it, and then I just added some strips of washi tape. So those are my artist trading cards. Those were so fun to stitch. Those were probably some of my favorite cards that I've made. Okay, new start. Pretty sure I talked about this in a recent video that I was planning on starting it. So this was a vacation start. Just that week that I was off, I decided one evening, I think it was 10 o'clock at night, that I was sitting here stitching, watching TV. I stayed up late most nights. That I decided to randomly start it. So this is European Bee Eater from Boomerang Stitches. I love the colors. I love everything about this design. I am debating whether the honeycomb and bee in the background, I may have to change the floss color just because of my fabric. I'll do some test stitching to see if it's actually going to show up bold enough type of thing, I may, I reserve the right to change that floss color, but otherwise I'm keeping the same flosses. And here we go. This material is so pretty. I definitely wanted to go something. I've got so much pretty material in my stash. I didn't want to do it just on white. This is on a, I don't remember if it's 16 or 18 count because I now have both from Bestitch Me. I feel like it's a 16 count Frozen Lake, and that is, so it's the whole vinery. I still have to add in one more shade of green to each of the leaves. It's gonna go out a little bit more over here, but it's not gonna be a big piece at all. So that's the height of the whole thing, and so it'll be a little wider over here, but yeah, it'll be a small piece, but it's so pretty. Plenty of material. I was really wanting to get some of this white in the background, but obviously placement wise, but I'll have to figure out a good framing finish or something so I can have some of the material showing or something. Definitely plan on getting back to that soon. So my friend Crystal, that I've talked about fairly regularly, she is my junk journal crafting buddy, my best friend. We've known each other since we were kids. She told me the other day that this was a tradition that she was waiting for this to come. So over the weekend, so my birthday was Tuesday, so Saturday night, I don't know, midday Saturday, I'm like, I need a birthday start. So it's a birthday weekend start. And so I was flipping through. I've got a tote bag. It's actually, I've got all kinds of stitching stuff right here. So I've got a tote bag over here with all kinds of projects that I have either kitted or partially kitted, like ready to go type of thing, where maybe all I have to do is grab fabric still, maybe still some flosses or whatever, but stuff that I've kind of got handy that I put them together last year. I was really wanting to, I could like pull together a whole lot of stuff. So things that are wanting to start. So went through that. Nothing was really calling to me, which is funny because I've got, you know, gosh, there's probably at least a dozen projects in there. Nothing was really saying, hey, I need to be started. So I was going through my PDFs, my Dropbox, and, you know, so much there, of course, too. And I came across the chart. I'm like, I don't remember having this chart. But I want to stitch it. So we started it. So it is from Luthien Art on Etsy. So, I've got one project already started from Luthien Art. It's a July birth flower. That I found this in my stash. So the picture you're seeing here is the mock-up from Pattern Keeper, because it didn't have a cover sheet to it. So I just took a screenshot of the mock-up from Pattern Keeper. But it says, in a world full of princesses, be a witch. And I love it. I'm doing all called for colors. I bought all of the DMC. I did confirm this is on the Luthien Art Facebook Etsy shop. It's something like Witchy Wisdom or something like that. When I've written it down in my planner that I've started it, or, you know, my notes or whatever, I just labeled it Be a Witch. So I love it. It is going to be so cool. It's going to be such a fun piece to stitch. And here we go. So this is stitched on a piece of 16 count Fiber on a Whim in a fabric called Presenting Lorelei Gilmore. It was in a one of the stitching, what was it? I don't know, some box or whatever, Gilmore Girls themed box from a few years ago. I actually got a few pieces of it, but pretty neutral. So yeah, like I said, it's DMC. So I did say that I'm doing called for DMC, but that's kind of a fib. I had to, and I just, when I was purchasing the floss from Michael's, I had to brighten up some of the colors. So like the yellow in the words is like called for 727. I went with 726. something to that effect. I didn't want it to get lost in the fabric, so there were a couple of shades that were pretty light toned that I kept with the same tone, but like darken, you know, same similar shade type of thing, just DMC one of the next couple of, you know what I mean. So yeah, top center somewhere around here, so just starting into the frame a little bit, and then I decided to put a couple of strands in to the that corner. That corner is not yet done. There's gonna be another swirly over here. So it's got the little stem that goes up too, so little flower. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. Went into Pattern Keeper just absolutely perfectly. This next piece, we need to see a finish on it. Emma Congdon cross stitch for the sole. You've seen it if you've been here before. When it rains, look for rainbows. When it's dark, look for stars. I've worked on this the last couple of days on lunch breaks or whatever. She needs to be done. I've got a couple little stitches around this star to do, but then otherwise we'll be able to move on. So I just have, like, the page that this is on is almost done. So I just have to finish stitching out the word stars, and then I think it's just basically a duplicate of this mirror over here. As I was stitching, I was noticing things were off a little bit, especially when I was comparing to where stitches were at of the dark. You know, were dark, things just weren't lining up quite right. After doing some looking, right down in here, I have an extra stitch, and so this whole stars is shifted over one more. So when it dawned on me, I had like all of the S done, much of the T and into the A. I was not ripping all of that out. I considered it for about 2 seconds, like no. Especially because where it'll end over here, it's not gonna, you know, suddenly put it way out, you know, out in Never Never Land or whatever, make it look off. Just don't look too close. Don't look too close. What I can say is that, you know, because of that, I'm now just really focusing working left to right, so that, like, I don't want to finish out a color by putting in this thing yet until I can work that direction. Just so that I don't run into, because this other S for stars is going to be, I think it's pretty much the same thing. I don't want that to run into this border. So 16 count color and cotton in the color Ozark. I have no clue if this color fabric is still available or not, but it's pretty. I cannot wait to get this piece finished, though. I know that much. Alrighty, last whip. Can you guess what it's gonna be? If you know. Sea opal. Yeah! Lots of flipping it. Artwork by Elizabeth Welker, charted by Heaven and Earth. This is my Focus on a Finish piece. I want to get it done this year. I am stitching it for my mom, so she's gonna want it on her wall. I was chatting with Kim from Full Coverage Fanatics the other day, and I don't know what is going on with me with this piece, but I don't have an issue. Like, I don't doubt that I'll be able to get it done this year, but I'm not just completely attacking it like I have other pieces in previous years. She did some math because she was asking about how much was done, and based off of like roughly of what I had told her of, you know, ballpark of what I had done, she says, well, it's only 235 stitches a day to get it done by the end of the year. And then, you know, yesterday I stitched 100 stitches on it, and, you know, so. But there's a lot of weekends that I'll get a lot more than that too, so. This is double pages, so pages 9 and 10. Page 10 is like 9 stitches wide, so I'm just working them both. Confetti, that's for sure, so that's slowing me down. And then just plugging away at filling it in. the detail is looking amazing. I know that much. So once I can get this like double pages done, there's going to be, starting from the left, will be 4 like normal full-size pages looking at the pattern. And then, of course, page 15 will be, you know, this partial like this one is. And then 1 more row of 5 pages at the bottom that are decent chunks still, but still partial pages. And again, what I was talking with Kim about, I don't know, I really don't think that I'm going to be able to get that full page plus the partial page in the Q-snap at one time to work top and bottom at the same time. So we may still be doing a lot more moving around and such, but plugging away though. We're getting there. So that is my sea opal. 16 count, full, 2 strands, full cross. All right, so that is all of the whips that I have to share. New starts. Plans. Keep stitching. That's about all I got to say. I don't plan. I am very much a stitch what you want when it calls to you. I did not share in my whip parade. I had the fabric of the month, but I didn't share what it was, so I'll share it now. So this would have been for the month of June. I'm sure everyone's got it now, but it's called Dusk, and it is a beautiful purple. It's, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that it's truly coming out. Purplish pink. Pinkish purple. It's pretty. No clue what I'm gonna do with it. I may have to investigate of some other fabric storage ideas, because I'm not ready to end my fabric of the month, but the like storage bin that I have them in, it's a little full. Patreon for quarterly gift from Deanna from Darling and Whimsy. Sounds like she had quite a trip to UK, I think. I know she's got a video talking about what all she did. I haven't watched that yet. But I'm thinking some of the, like the postcard is from there. So she included, it is from the University Church of St. Mary the Virgin, Oxford. Isn't that pretty? The Romance of Oxford series. So yeah, very pretty. She included some ephemera type stuff. So we got the giraffe sticker from one of our Quirky Quakers. I've got to do some purchasing of Quirky Quaker and stitching of them because there's so many release that I don't have. A couple dino stickers. Some flowers. And a little bow. So these little pieces will be good to go for my junk journal. I know she's got some ephemera packs available for purchase too, so I may have to get one of those. Not like I don't have enough stuff for the ephemera. I love ephemera packs though. A little more stash. I recently had to place an order on a local on an online needle workshop. My sister is starting a piece. She has started stitching a piece that called for some they're made by Mill Hill. I call them beads, but they're more just 3-dimensional. I didn't bring those over because it's not for me. So I had to do some Googling to find these because they were not just readily available anywhere. So I found like one shop online, Pennsylvania, I think. I didn't even get the name of the shop that I got these from. I don't remember. It was something that I had to Google. So I figured, so it was that, and I had to find some Krynic blending filament that luckily they had on hand as well. So to make it worthwhile of, you know, making that paying for shipping, I was looking through their stuff. The oddest thing is this shop, I don't know if it was, I didn't look any further because I don't stitch on anything but Ada. Not a single piece of material in Ada on hand. So I don't know why that is. I couldn't think of any specific charts to add in, but then I found that they had magazines, and you know, I honestly didn't even notice if she had the new Halloween issue. Was it just cross stitch? But I found this was my favorite magazine back in the day, and I so wish that it was still being a publication, but they're done. So it's cross stitch and needlework. I got a Crystal gifted me a subscription 2010, 11, somewhere in that. Well, it would have been after I got into stitching, which was again, so what, maybe it was 11, 12, somewhere in that ballpark. So I found a the subscription cards fell out. July of 07 issue, so I wouldn't have had this on hand. Honestly, haven't even flipped through it yet, but I love the magazine. And then an 09 one. So this was July of 09. Again, I haven't flipped through that. But look how fun that is. Home is where the beach is. So those will be fun to flip through. My magazines seem to be good go-to for the ATCs. So they came in the mail the other day, and I set them in my little stash for to show, you know, purchases and that, and then I forgot to flip through them again. So one other little gift from Crystal. She gave me some really good stuff, but I wanted to show this specifically. It is a vase that is in the shape of, I'm really about done with I don't have any more stitching stuff to share. So if you're not here for anything else, I appreciate you stopping by. Hope you enjoy what you saw. I am on lunch. I've got like 15 minutes, so we're gonna wrap this up here. But so it's, there we go, Court of Thorns and Roses. So it's a vase that is in the shape of a book. So it's even got the spine, and then the back of it's really cool. You can see the castle. So just had to show that because it's really pretty. I mentioned that I'm reading. I haven't finished any books yet, but I have been reading Prequel by Rachel Maddow. I am obsessed with this woman. I have made a few annotations here in regards to things that are happening currently. The book takes place in 1930s Nazi time, but I'm referencing events that are happening currently that I'm able to tie them into. There was a statement, quote, back then, "Democracy is doomed. This is our last election. It is fascism or communism. We are at a crossroads. I take the road to fascism." So of course I had to make a reference of, we don't need any more elections. Someone had to make a comment on. So definitely have been wanting to read this and seeing how, you know, things are comparing from 1930s to what is happening now. On a lighter note, I'm not finished with it yet, but absolutely adore anything that Abby Jimenez, how her name would be pronounced, Abby Jimenez. Love her books, love her, just everything about her. I've got about 80 pages left. Light reading, just fun and enjoyable. This is number 3 out of a series. I think Part of Your World is number 1. But just, if you're looking for some good, fun reading, she is my go-to. Okay, back to the junk journaling stuff, because a couple things I wanted to share with birthday gifts. Crystal gave me this. It was on my wish list. I recently came across it and decided it was definitely something that I needed to have. So I appreciate that she snagged it for me, because if she didn't, I was going to. I mean, is that not stitches? So it's dark cottage junk journaling. So it's all paper, but it's stuff that I can cut down. There was so it's things that I can be able to like cut down a portion of that and use, you know, probably half of it in my book or something. So just my vibe of things, and I love that one. And then my sister found me this awesome paper. So she hit up the Joann's before they were closing, clearance Dutch, and one of the things that I love about these booklets is they give these pages, that paper that has like different quotes type of thing. So I will cut one of these down and make it into a spread in my junk journal. So this is all kind of zodiac theme, but again, this is like the vibe that I have been loving lately. So I don't have a whole lot of time to do a complete flip through, but here's my junk journal that I have so far. I wanted to go with something a little different from, I know a lot of people use these certain style books or whatever, which I'm almost done with this, filling this one up, so Crystal got me my next one. So that's kind of the style that I see a lot of people use, but I wanted to go something a little different this time. So that's the cover. I think Crystal found this one for me. It says Eating My Feelings, which, fair. It's what's been happening a lot lately. So I haven't done like a whole lot in terms of, I see junk journals that are, you know, so full that you can barely close them or whatever. Now I do have a separate book that I'm putting cross-stitch stuff into. This is not cross-stitch related. This has just been, there may be things that like a specific, memory type of thing. I feel like I showed this one before. So found this craft paper that, or sticker that had crafty on it. So I used different labels from Overdyed Floss. So the new Pirate and Robin. We've got some Forbidden Fiber Co., Classic Colorworks, Leo and Roxy. I feel like I showed that page before. So this was a fun, like, retro page. Crystal and I both used to love the Babysitter Club books. I've got cards, we've got Sonic, games. I grew up playing Sorry and Uno, Monopoly, of course. This was from Guess Who. So, like, here's a page that we went to Symphony, Saginaw Bay Orchestra Symphony. So that was kind of a night that we did that. So like this. So this is another one of those where I cut down something from one of the scrapbook pages. I had stickers, do what you love what you do. And then I just added some random fun, pretty color stickers. This one was a fun page. So this was on a mailer. I got something in a package in the mail. It might have been from a fabric of the month. I don't remember. So I cut that down. Had some other really pretty stickers that kind of coordinated with it. Gotta show off my Packers page. This turned out so cool. I love this. So I am an owner of the Green Bay Packers, you know, the shareholder. It's nothing but a piece of paper. I got access to a specific pro shop where I can get t-shirts and, you know, things of that nature. They do a big shareholders meeting. I know I can vote for things or whatever. So that's what this whole thing is. So this was a ticket for the shareholders meeting. I haven't gone. I would like to go one of these years, but I got the mailer recently because that meeting is next week, I think. So I have a pad of paper that, like cardstock paper, that had perfect green and yellow stickers, and then the rest of the stuff is from the thing itself. So the inside of the actual envelope that I had the Green Bay logo on it. That was something in the whole thing, so those were cut down from the mailers. And then I had some other random stickers, that little football, those were just like booklets and, you know, other outside sources, but had to have a little Green Bay spread. I don't talk about football a whole lot on here, but big Packers fan. Last one that I'm going to show, and then I got to get back to work. This one turned out so good. So what you're seeing with the black cat and this like peeking around the corner, that page, there was a kids book that I picked up from a book sale that never heard of or whatever. I want to say the cat's name was Cookie. So it was just really pretty. You can see like, so I took out a page from that, and then a booklet or something. I don't remember now where. Oh, I think this is from a ephemera book thing that I got from Barnes & Noble. Live, Love, Meow, because, you know, cat. And then from when I was making my card stocks, it's just a piece of little gray, just to cover up the paper a little bit. That one was so cute. So, yeah. That's about all that I have left from, you know, I don't have a whole lot of pages left. So once this is all full, then I'll be able to switch books. One of these days I'll think about doing an actual flip through if anybody's interested in seeing like all of the pages that I've done. So, okay, that's really about all I have. I managed to make a video about the length that I normally do. Stitches is currently hanging out on her cat tree. If I could easily have moved the camera so I can show how she's laying, would have been easy, but I don't want to move the camera too much. She likes to sit on the top and like she'll, you know, lay down, and so she's got her head hanging over the edge. Just chilling out. So yeah, that's about all that I have, about all the time that I have since I gotta go back to work. Got a few more hours left of work, and then it's the weekend. Hope you're getting lots of stitching time in. I know this is kind of a lot's going on right now. No end in sight, it seems, but yeah, we just gotta do something to find some joy somewhere. And honestly, this junk journaling such, this has really been a lot of joy brought. So between the time spent with Crystal and I sitting and working on our books and the shopping for the ephemera and all of that kind of stuff, it's really just brought a lot of, you know, a little something different to do. So all right, I gotta go to work. I'm just sitting here babbling now. So stitch what brings you joy, and yeah, we'll get through this one way or another. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.